go on with our day. So, hey everybody, Tatyana Sturm with the Storck Team and Exit Realty Denver Tech Center here. I have Doug Krueck with Pillar to Post. He is one of the Storck Team's inspectors that we use, and I've had him live on Facebook before, but I'm bringing him on today just to talk about one of the services that we offer with Doug to our sellers. So, hey Doug, thanks for joining us.
Hi there.
Hey, he's joining us from his car, probably in between inspections. But so one of the things that the Storck team does for all of our home sellers that are going to be selling their home is we do a pre-inspection of the property for free. So this is one of the many services that we include to our sellers. And Doug does all of our pre-inspections for us. So Doug, why don't you just run down really quickly when you come out to the house, what are some of the main things that you're looking at on the pre-inspection?
Well, the main thing that I'm looking for is health and safety high dollar repairs. So things that are going to come up when the buyer has their inspector come through. So just kind of giving a heads up on what to expect. Some repairs that maybe are due, you can be proactive to it. The big thing that I'm finding in the market right now is that buyers are, angry is not the right word, but they're not happy about how much they're spending, and so they can get to be a little nervous. And so if we can be proactive and shrink the list of things that their home inspector will find, it'll make things easier for everybody and just make your transaction go smoother. Sometimes it's things that you can fix yourself, and it's saving you the trouble of hiring somebody, save you money that way. And then just being proactive on your home, so you can get a little more money for it, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you brought up two really good points. So buyers right now are under a lot of pressure to get into a home. So they're making decisions very quickly, sometimes going much over their budget than what they're anticipating. And that can create a very unstable, volatile situation for home buyers right now. And then, the other thing you said about being proactive is very important. And I like to use the word preemptive. So if there is something that's a major issue with a home, it is better, I have found in the 17 years that I've been an agent, to take care of those issues prior to the home going on the market. For a couple different reasons. Usually I can get it done a lot cheaper for the seller, and do what's necessary, because I know I have a construction background, versus, the buyer or the buyer's agent making demands on certain repairs or a certain type of equipment or being done in a certain way, or maybe, wanting all these unnecessary permits pulled, and save my seller some money that way. But then also, we were talking about earlier is giving some examples of this, not just, saving the seller time and money, but also, you don't want the deal to fall apart, when you're in that inspection process. If, the buyer's kind of a little bit antsy anyways, and then get to the inspection and then they pull out, it's not in the seller's best interest generally to go back on the market. So let's just talk real quickly. In recent months, what are some of the things that have popped up that we have been able to help our sellers with? I was mentioning you the one with the crawl space.
Right. Yeah. Something that we do find periodically is that the dryer exhaust gets disconnected, and it's blowing hot, humid dryer lint all over the crawl space. That's a prime location for spiders, plus it's a mold hazard as well. And the house that Tatyana is referring to had mold in the basement. So if you have the ability to clean that up and, like I said, be proactive, you can provide paperwork if necessary, just have it sitting there waiting, because that's one of the other things about the market is sometimes it can be hard to be out in a timely manner. So if you're already proactive and you have all these things done, that's one less thing that the buyer is going to be stressed about, and you as a seller as well.
Yeah. So one thing I just want to add, Doug, about that particular house that you had mentioned about that had the mold in the crawl space from the disconnected dryer vent is that house, that particular seller, that house was immaculate. It was perfect. There wasn't, one chip of paint, one speck of dirt anywhere. The seller had even told me, she's like, well, I don't, think you need to do a pre-inspection. This house is perfect. Nothing's going to come up. And I said, well, I include that anyways for my seller. It doesn't cost you any additional money. So let's just go ahead and get it done and we'll just know. And that's where that particular issue came up. And if she would have waited for that issue to come up in inspection, 2 or 3 weeks down the road, it could have definitely costed her the sale of her property.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of people are sensitive to mold, so.
Right. Well, and then part of the inspection, the pre-listing inspection that we've been doing is do get up on the roof and take a look at the roof. See if there's an insurance claim, the life left in the roof, as well as taking the infrared camera and scanning the home with the infrared camera. Had a house the other day, the master shower was leaking, and even though it wasn't staining, damaging the ceiling in the dining room, I was able to show the seller, hey, look, this needs to be addressed right away, or you're going to have higher dollar repairs than what you're expecting. So there again, we were proactive on that. And then the other thing, going back to the roof, a lot of times the buyer's inspector, they won't get up on the roof. And so you have another step for a roof inspection. And we can also tell you, well, is there an insurance claim? The roof looks good. There's these repairs done, those sort of things. Again, being proactive, saving you time and energy later on when it's when people are stressed about the situation.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point. A lot of times in situations, what we'll be able to do for our sellers too, I use the example of the roof. The other one's like the furnace and, AC, depending on the time of year. But a lot of times what I'll do for the sellers, of course, based off your recommendation, Doug, is we'll go in, and if if the roof has some damaged shingles, we'll come in right away. We'll replace those damaged shingles. We'll get a roof certification, 3 to 5 years typically, and already have that completed prior to the house going on the market and prior to the inspector coming out, and present that information to the inspector. And a lot of times inspectors are like, oh, great, this roof's been inspected by a licensed roofer. It's good to go. You've got the 5-year roof cert, and, it's smooth sailing at that point. They're not going to be picking on, whatever on the roof. Same thing with the furnace too. We come in, get the furnace professionally cleaned, check for, carbon monoxide leaks, and get it certified too. Those are some things that definitely can benefit a seller and the buyer too, during the inspection period, is just having some of those things already done.
Absolutely.
All right, Doug. Well, I just always like to end these conversations with the question, how many real estate agents do you know that do pre-inspections for their seller and they include that for them?
One. Just.
Sorry, Doug, you cut out.
What's that?
Oh, you cut out. Sorry.
Oh, I said one realtor, just you.
No, and I appreciate that. It's important to know, for the, people to know, the consumer to know that this is something that the Storck team does that goes above and beyond pretty much almost every real estate agent to make sure that the process for our sellers is as smooth as possible from the start to the finish. I mean, even though we're greatly in a seller's market, these are very important steps for the seller, again, to ensure a smooth process, but also maximize the sale price on their home as well.
Absolutely. I think it's a wonderful service. I recommend everybody doing a pre-listing inspection anyway, but when you're working with an agent that's proactive like this, it really just steps the whole game up. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Doug. I know you're in between inspections right now, so I really appreciate you taking 10, 15 minutes today. And then also just people can get to know who you are. So if they do sell with us, they will can expect you to be at their house doing the pre-inspection.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks.